Welcome everybody to another weekly recap. With me, as always, is our friend, leader, boss, the man in charge, George Wells. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Feeling better. I was a little bit under the weather last week, so um, looking forward to getting better for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Feel
what?
under the weather and still manage to defend your title too.
We could talk about that in a little bit. uh, yeah, it was something, but Um, why don't you get us started? I mean, I know we didn't have too many matches this week, but let's definitely touch on what we have, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good, buddy. Yeah, it really was a quiet week. Like some of the big names got some matches in. We got a couple new big names that are on the ladder now. And yeah, we had some decent matches. Not a whole lot happened up top aside from your title defense, but I say that, but there's a couple here. Let's see. Shane is making his way up. Uh, I don't think I have his actual where he's sitting on the ladder right now, but he played against Brad Willett.
Yeah,
He threw a 58 average. Brad threw a 53, so that's respectable for Brad. Um, but yeah, I think Shane took the match 6-1 or something like that. So that was one of our first matches of the week. Mike Edwards had a surprising match because he throws like I want to say like a 47 average, 48 average, and he threw a 58. I'm pretty sure it's 47. 47, he threw a 58. So
wow.
that's like yeah, like if he can keep throwing like that, that would be that would be insane. Right. He played against Steve C, who was like, he messaged me afterwards and he's like, Steve Cochran, he's like, what am I supposed to do against a 58 average? Like, he's got that. He's, and then somebody else called him out. I want to say like Henry Gosney or somebody, another big shooter just called him out. And I was like, oh, Steve's going to be so disappointed.
That
So
happens.
he's
That
got to
happens.
defend it. Yep. Uh, oh, the stickers are in the mail. I wanted to tell everybody that. I should have started off with that. All the stickers, we got them. They're all in the mail. So
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's, uh, what else? Oh, you had your match. That was one of my next matches to talk about after Mike Edwards. So why don't you tell me what happened with your match?
Well, I mean, I think the match itself was fine. I don't think Miles was shooting his best. I think he had just finished another playing some soft tip. I don't know how one does that, but um, and then the adjustment to me, it has to be some sort of adjustment, right? To running straight into different weighted darts and everything. But then I know we also had some issues with the audio, so I think I want to apologize to Miles for that. I mean, it wasn't affecting me potentially like as much as it was bothering him because it wasn't as evident in my side. But I want to apologize to him for that. And I know it could be distracting in many different ways. But the match itself, I think we both shot a little bit under what we would potentially shoot at any given time. I've shot him. We played on other tournaments as well. In like the pop-up tournaments, and he shoots really well. But I don't think he was really shooting his game that day. I just happened to just get by. Um, but I think he's a good shot. It was a good match overall. So that's it, man. I just defended it one more time. Now I got my next
Yeah,
battle, my next battle that I have to
which is a
prepare
big
for,
one. Which is a big one.
which is a big one. Mark B. I'm playing, so he's
Yep, Mark
someone who,
Buckley.
yeah, who shoots a higher average than I do. He's a great shot. I played him, I think, in another pop up tournament that we had, and he reminded me that he does shoot better than I do by whooping me. So I got a good tough battle coming up. So I'm looking forward to it though.
I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a great match. Great match. Um, but yeah, you were mentioning that Miles really didn't shoot to his potential. You still shot fantastic. You shot like a 61 average. And Miles definitely shot down from where he normally shoots. Like I think he averages like 54, 55, which means he can put up 60 averages, but he threw up a 50 average against you, which yeah,
Yeah,
that's just not going to compete.
yeah. No, I mean, I happen to have a couple of good legs as well, and that kept that momentum going. So so I was able to just continue and then kind of stay for once, finally, consistent in terms of energy wise throughout my whole match, which is something I really need to work on because I'll come out speeding and have some minute all of a sudden just take a dip in my in my averages. Just can won't find the board for it, but I did a right job this time, so we'll see.
Yeah, they in like the UFC they call them the championship rounds, man.
Uh,
Like you do well like for the first 3 rounds, now you're into deep water into the championship rounds, and that's where you make it or break it, right? Do you have the endurance to keep on going, to keep plugging through, right?
that's right. That's right.
All right, what else do we got here? Oh, you broke the record for golf at -26.
And
That was short lived.
that was very short lived. That was very short lived. Um, Mike Law was it? No,
Mike Dever.
Ever. Okay, yeah, yeah. No, man, a -26, and it was funny because I remember when we were playing, and I said, "No, no, I'll take the par in this one."
The
As a
last
matter
two
of fact,
holes.
it was 17 on the 18s. I said, "I'll take the par," but I had an opportunity with a dart in hand to go at it, and I just opted not to. Just be, it's funny because right before that, when I played, I forgot who took it from me the first time. He played it really conservative at one point. He's like, no, 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 I'll take the par in this one. And I'm just like, that's a smart move because he was already closer in the 20s. I was like, all right, so you learn as you play. But yeah, yeah, man, that was a fun match too. But I seen the
Yeah, yeah,
score
yeah.
for his game, and he was just like basically hit everything but two. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah, he
didn't get
hit
a chance to
everything
look at
over.
the score sheet, but
Yeah,
yeah, -29 is the record now. So
yeah, that's
if
crazy.
some of these other big shooters out there want to take their shot at -29, it's impressive.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're not calling out anybody. Oh, I do want to mention we do have a very special guest today during the player highlight. I'm not talking. You mentioned big shots. I just coincidentally happened to say that. Reminding me of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
We do
yeah. I
have it.
wonder why
Definitely
that
stay
is.
with us. Stay with us. Special guest today. Um, uh,
Yeah.
on this player highlight. Go ahead, man. Do your thing. What else you
All
got?
right. There's the. I can't remember if I mentioned it just to you or if I've already talked about it on the while we're doing this, but Mike Dever and Roy Wallace, Roy Walls, two new players on the ladder that are phenomenal shots.
Mm,
Uh, quickly going to look so I don't get the numbers wrong. Roy Walls is a 70 average, and
wow.
Mike Dever holds the highest average on our ladder at 76.
Holy moly.
76 average.
That's pretty
I've
high.
been noticing, yeah, I've been noticing that like the better players are attracting better players.
Mm,
So like we had like you on the ladder who was like our highest average at 60. And then you attracted guys that were like 62, 63. And then those guys attracted the guys that are like 65, 67. You know what I mean? And then these 67 and 68 guys are attracting the guys that are in the 70s. You know what I mean? And like, where does it stop? Do we end up with guys on here that are 80 averages? Like, that's crazy.
we're gonna
Crazy.
as long as it doesn't get higher than the amount of people we have on there, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's when you gotta question it.
uh, Ian Crew and Dave Curry had a match. It came through as three separate match reports. So we've got Ian through mid to low 50s, and Dave through mid to high 50s. So I don't know where it landed, right? But Ian Crew was probably like 52, 53, somewhere in there. And Dave was like 57, 58, somewhere in there, right? So Dave took that one.
And
Um,
Dave had 100 average leg there, a 15 daughter in that, I think in that closing match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were mentioning that earlier. That's fantastic, right? 100 average.
I mean, I think to know, I know it's frustrating because many of us, it's happened. Like, like we'll get kicked out and like after the first set or something, then we have to go reset it up. DC's been glitchy like that in a while. So, it's just specifically for the newer players, like, on the platform or just when it does happen, you know, it just happens. Nobody's trying to do anything intentionally. It just drops,
No,
Um, so definitely know that people in this lab don't do that. I've had that done to me when people don't want to lose and they just drop out, but not people here.
no. I've never had that happen. Of all the last 3 years, I've never had somebody just drop out of a match just because they're just frustrated, right? So
I've had it once. They took a look at my face, but not once. We started playing the match.
before the match even started,
For
right?
the match, because I had that split screen. They were like, "Oh no, this guy's too much." So I was like, "All right."
Lewis had another match against Michael Bavalaire Jr., however you say his name, Michael B. Lewis threw a 60 average, and this guy's consistently throwing. He's on par with you. Like if you and him went toe to toe, I wouldn't know who would win because he seems to be like throwing exactly the way that you do.
Mm,
He played Michael B. Michael B threw a 50 average, which is a little bit down from where he throws. I think he throws like a 54, 55. So it's a little bit below where he throws.
mm.
Um, and that showed in the score. I think the score was like 6-1 or something like that.
Sorry.
Right. So Kyle G and Crispy, two of the OGs of the ladder played off.
Yeah.
Right. So Chris Chris threw a 52 average. Kyle G threw a 55 average. I can't remember what the score of the match was. You might have it. Like I know
I
you
think it was it
tend to
was it was
scan
a little
through.
bit of a back and forth, if I
I
remember
thought so
correctly.
too.
Let me see. I thought I had saved it here, but yeah, it was actually no, it was yeah, it was 6-2. It was six
6-2
two.
for
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah, yeah. And Chris had a birthday this week too, so I want to wish
Yeah,
Chris.
yesterday or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
I want to wish him
Yeah,
a happy
happy birthday,
birthday.
Chris. Kyle should have let you win. Jeez.
he's that he's that party pooper, Kyle.
Yeah, no kidding. Eh? Matt Law had another match. He actually got called out by Chris Wilkinson,
Yes,
right? Which is good. Like I like that these guys are like testing themselves and calling out the better shooters. You know what I mean? So
and he took one
yeah, but
set.
yeah, he took the first set.
He took the
Yeah,
first set. Yeah, he took the first set and
yeah.
some really good numbers in there too. Like some 71 legs,
And I
75
believe
legs.
I don't think he's a 50 average shooter, and he threw a 55, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
right.
really good.
And again, I didn't print out the middle sheet here, so I don't have his average. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like a 47, 48, maybe a 49 shooter, right? A couple that I wanted to mention, like just they're not high up on the ladder or anything like that, but there's a few that we could just mention. Um, we had Lisa. Lisa's been doing amazing lately. Like she's just every time she gets into a match, I would say she's probably like 7 wins in a row now, something like that.
Hmm.
I would have to go back and ask her, but I don't remember the last time she's lost. Like every time she's in a match with somebody, she's pulling off the win, and she did it against
Wow.
Andrew. 51 average to his 50.
Wow. I'm trying to look,
Um,
I'm trying to look for the stats on that one because that sounds like it was a pretty close match.
I don't think it was. I think she won like 6-2 or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I think so. Again, there's so many matches; it's hard to keep all of them
Oh,
straight.
Lisa. Yeah, here it
But
is. Yeah, you're right. It was a 6-2.
6-2, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's constantly climbing, and her husband can't seem to catch her.
That happens.
Doug's her husband. He shoots like a 60 some odd average, and yeah, Well, that's why she's so good, right? Because she's constantly practicing with somebody that shoots a 60 some odd average, right?
That's
Like,
part of it, man. That's part of it.
yeah, for sure. There was a few like really good battles this week. Um, you had Michael Teckenhorse played Michael Douglas, and that was like it almost went like max sets. Right. If I had to just make it up, it was basically like 3-1 the first set, 3-2 the second set, and then 3-2 the second set. Right. Like it was a nice battle back and forth where like nobody was really out of it at any point in time. Right.
Yeah, and it came down to the
Uh,
last leg too, huh?
yeah, yeah, right to the last leg.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Same with Brad Willett and Tony Fisher's match.
Hmm.
Brad Willett and Tony Fisher were the same thing. Like I want to say, like someone swept the first match, and then it was back and forth after that, like right down to the wire. And then same with John. We'll just call him Ross because I think that's his real name. Ross against Brian H. Helvanich. That was another like really good battle back and forth, right? Those are three matches that I kind of looked at over the week where I was like, man, like these were some hardcore battles. Like this was anybody's game right up until the end, right?
And I mean, man, this one was. I'm just looking at the stats and on the Michael and the Mike game, and Michael Douglas had 6 left. So and that's one of those ones that sounds very painful. Like he probably had a shot at a 9. Those are the ones that don't let you sleep at night.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, and then last couple things was Amanda and Jerry both had wins this week, right? So Amanda had a win over Mark Nix, and Jerry took out Debbie. Debbie was not happy about that.
No, that was my girl. Yeah, no, I mean I get it. The my Carols. I mean, I think they're hitting the board more and more. So they're trying to, they're OGs too, right? They're like we spoke to them a couple of weeks ago. They're original listers. They're the 1%
Yep,
of the ladder.
yep, for sure. Like nobody hits the board more than Jerry does. Well, no, that's not true because I think Tyler Owens has more darts in the board than Jerry does.
Yeah,
Jerry's not going to like that stat because Jerry prides himself on how many darts he throws. He throws a lot of darts, right? But Tyler's got a lot more than him.
Tyler does
I
have
don't
a
know
lot.
how. I don't know how. Like these guys are on the board. Like I don't know how they manage to throw that many darts, but they somehow they do. And you had something that you were saying about one of the new guys on the ladder when we were talking.
Yeah, I gotta look through my email. Um, but I did play one season last season. I played in the DPFL league, and uh, was it? I think it's the guy that just won the. I mean, that just that took that record from me.
Mike Dever.
And Denver.
Mike Dever.
I think I may have played him in the DPFL, and I think he may have beaten me. Um, I don't remember people who I beat, but I try to remember people who beat me, and I think
Gotcha.
he might be on my hit list. So so I gotta look through my stats to see if he's one up there. He might have beaten me enough for me to like really like bump him into the top Gonzo 10. So like so I gotta check it out. But either way, I mean, if he beat me and he beat me that bad, he's a good shooter. So,
Yeah,
but
man,
it doesn't take long
he's a really good shooter.
yeah. So I'm looking forward to playing him and seeing him on the ladder. But if he is on my hit list, then it is what it is. I'll see him around.
Oh, for sure, right? Yeah, you're gonna see him for sure because he's gonna be at the top of the ladder with you.
Mm.
I expect a lot of matches between guys like you and Chris and Mark Buckley and Mike Dever and Henry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many good shots that are going to be up at the top of this ladder. Like, every time that you play from now on is going to be against like these phenomenal shots that are just going to bring out the best in you. It's going to be so good to see. So good to see.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's a sleeper in the ladder too. Like there's someone in the ladder that's just gonna like sneak up and all of a sudden they're like a nine, and you're like, wait, where? How did this individual get into the nine? They're like they've just been going on the radar and moving up,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna catch somebody sleeping, and then they're gonna just come out and like walk out with a championship title. And you're like, what just happened here? you know?
So it's so funny that you just said that because there's a guy on the ladder, and I'm not going to say who it is yet. There's a guy on the ladder that is like, man, he's like, I used to shoot like a 60 average. And I'm like, all right, like maybe it's true, maybe it's not. You know what I mean? And then he starts off playing with me and he's throwing like 37, 38. I'm like, all right, like this guy might have been full of shit. But then again, he said that he did it a long time ago. And the next time I play him, he's throwing like 41, 42. And then I play him again, and he's throwing 46, 47. Like the guy's improving. Like, and then he's messaging me being like, I just threw a 180. I'm like, man, I'm like, it's been months since I hit a 180. Right. And then he sends me another picture and he's like, yeah, he's like, I just did it again in a match. And I'm like, man, I'm like, maybe this guy is legit. Maybe he used to shoot a 60 average and he's gonna build back up. So when you say there's a sleeper on the ladder, there really might be. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm interested. Like, I'm gonna keep an eye on it and see how it plays out.
Well, put it in an envelope, seal it, and then when it's for the
Yeah,
reveal, you can
exactly.
open it
Right.
up, and then put the date on it so that way we know it, and then see if we start calling you what's that guy that used to predict the things, Nostradamus, whatever his
Yeah,
name
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
What
Too
else you
funny.
got there, George?
That's pretty much it, bud. Other than we've got someone that we can talk to right now.
Well, actually, before we go there, um, I'll tell the directors to, the producers to get the special guest ready in the booth. Um, I did want to mention things about for the newer players. I know that now you have to be added to the Facebook group, so that's one. And then the second thing, I think you get added to the chat as well. Not so that's just how things just happen in there. But then the real message here is like if you're not sure how to start the match or where to post it, or how to challenge somebody, like what do the pluses mean? We have the FAQs there. Um, take a quick scan. If you have improvements, let us know. We'll update it. If you have questions on how to call people out, I can tell you that I myself didn't know what the plus meant until one day there was a tournament and somebody said, "Oh, you're gonna earn a plus, or you're gonna earn this." I'm like, "Oh, what are those? What are those used for?" And then they gave me an opportunity to ask more questions, right? But don't be shy. Just post them. We have tons of OGs in there that will explain how. And if you say, "Hey, if I want to challenge this person, how can I go about that?" So don't be shy if you ask questions for the new folks, for all those who've taking a little bit of some time off and are going back and don't remember. Just ask, post a question, somebody will help you. You usually type in. I know Kirk Chapman is always, Kyle G is always helping out, and there's other folks in there that jump in to try to explain things. So there's always going to be somebody to help you. So just ask the questions, because ultimately, if it turns out that you set up a match and somebody didn't keep an eye on it, you play it, it and it's not going to count. So there's certain things that we want to make sure that you don't go through the hassle of doing as well. So speaking from experience, it's not nothing on
Oh,
anybody
100%.
else. So
Yeah. A lot of people message me directly and ask me like how can I go about or how like can I reach this person or can I right? You can ask those questions in the ladder as well. I really don't care if you message me, but you might get a quicker response if you ask it in the lobby. Like, hey, can I challenge Chris? And someone might be like, oh, like, no, you don't have enough pluses to get to him, or he's actually 9 spots ahead, so you can't challenge him. Like these little things like that, right? So yeah, it's definitely a good thing to keep in mind.
all right,
Thanks a lot, buddy.
yeah, no worries, no worries. So now the producers are telling me our special guest is here, and how do I introduce this individual besides that I'm a fan? Um, did he win a Grammy? No, he didn't win a Grammy. I don't think so. They didn't say that in his bio. Did he does he play an instrument? I don't know. Um, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I have him looking around his room like, what is he talking about? So, why don't you introduce our special guest, George?
Yeah, I was really excited to get him on the ladder when he finally got on, and now he's just reaching the top. He just finished calling out Miles. So Chris Teely, I believe his last name is Chris T.
Chris
Welcome,
T.
buddy.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, my brother?
Doing good, doing good.
Welcome to the weekly recap, Dark Games TV and the Ladder Challenge. Thank you for joining us. I mean, like I said, I'm a fan. Since you came onto the ladder, you've been working your way up, and I've been following you, watching you play a couple of games online, and man, you can shoot, boy.
Some days I just got to get in that right mindset. Thank you. Yeah, I put in a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, why don't you tell us, man? I mean, I think I when we played one time, after you gave me a lesson that I didn't ask for, and I wiped my tears and I cried alone at night that day. I did talk to you about how did you come about doing that? Because I remember in one of the games there was a commentary that was made. They said, "No, he's putting a lot of work." And then I asked you about it. Well, what does that work really mean? So why don't you tell us, like, what kind of work is it that you put in?
I mean, so when I moved back east, I needed a new hobby, and like a month into work there, so I'm like, play darts. I'm like, aside from occasional, soft tip machine at a bar or someone's garage, not much. I'm like, you should play. I'll play bottom division. So got into it. Didn't know what I was doing. Started watching like PDC and learning, some strategy, and started messing around. And I moved down to Florida about a year and a half later. And at that point, I'd probably worked myself up into the like mid 30s.
Mm,
I'm like, I don't know. I feel like a god, but obviously, it wasn't much. Got to meet a lot of higher end players, guys that win state, win tournaments, whatnot, and um, they sort of hooked me onto the groove. And one of the guys was playing DPFL season 4, so I paid attention to it. I'm like, all right, so online darts are a thing. So I went and orchestrated up a camera rig so I could play and started hopping on all the little different servers and just playing everybody I could. And I just grinded from there. Got into season 5, played D3, made it to the top 4, where I learned that I could beat him down to the board, but if you can't hit a double, it doesn't matter.
mm,
I think he like 9-2. It was terrible. But that put a little more focus, so I started playing more online. I joined a couple different Facebook group leagues, just so I could get games, play Dark Connect Lobby, and you know, found some improvements. Did another season at Division 3, and I pushed my average up into the 50s. And it was right around that point when they started releasing King of the Hill on DPFL,
mm,
and $10 a month, ladder style, ELO ranking point system. So bigger the gap, the more you can go up in points between you and who you play. And um,
mm.
what I liked about it is you get 50, 60 people sign up for this, and you can play on demand games.
Yeah.
People better than you, people the same, and I just sat in there and grinded and played a ton of games, get my confidence up, get my consistency up. I was taught by a couple people you only get better by losing, and you learn to correct some inconsistencies. You need to go work on some doubles. I had a lot of period where all I would do in warm up is throw doubles, It's like, all right, if I can start hitting doubles, then I at least have an opportunity to get out of an 0-1 game, you know?
Yeah.
And, just kept going with that. Some of the guys that have come over to this group, I've, played through that as well. And, you know, Raven Chrysostomo, Dever, a lot of these guys, actively play over there. And that ended up setting the tone. I was seeing anywhere from 2 to 3 points a month
Wow.
average increase. Um, and that pushed me into D2, which I went to playoffs and finished the season with like 65 and change. Like, well, you got to go D1. I'm like, well, I guess I need to play more. Ended up playing some games with some bigger guys, and before he ended up quitting his job and doing darts full time, um, was starting to get a feel for coaching, and now he actually has a paid coaching service. But I probably played at least 10, 15 sets of darts with Alex Spellman,
Mm.
and I was able to pick his brain. Um, I even set up my face cam, and we went into Zoom and added two sources, and he was watching my form, watching my release. Had a couple different angles, and you know I got a lot of really good advice and form fitting, and I pushed myself at the end of Division One with a mid 70s.
Wow.
Um, you know, and just consistency is key. Um, One of the big training things I do is I'll practice two dart outs. I'll literally before anything that matters match or in a warm up, I'll go 98 all the way down to 41.
Mm.
Try and hit it in two. If I don't hit it in three, and move to the next one, and then I'll keep a tally on which ones I was hitting and which ones I was struggling with, and you know go start correcting that better. And
Oh wow.
yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
it's anywhere for I probably play on average 6, sometimes 7 days a week, anywhere from an hour to 4 hours a day.
Wow.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's work for sure.
so yeah,
And it
I did
shows.
all this. Did all this over. I guess this month would be my 4 year anniversary from throwing my first league match. So
I know, 4 years,
That's a
right?
crazy amount of progress for 4 years, man.
it helped. Like I said, I mean, in the game I won trips for show, doubles for dough. I really try and focus on, if I'm throwing out a double, I want it to be my first dart or second dart. I want to be comfortable all over the board and hit it because I had a couple matches in the playoffs and my final, even more specifically, I had guys that would outshoot me down to the out consistently. They struggled on their, they might be throwing, prior to double out, throwing somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 100. But all of a sudden they're shooting at doubles, they're missing. I catch up, first start of the double hit. And it kept going. And I think my final, he was shooting 77 and I was shooting a 74. Still took it.
Wow.
Nice.
So, I
What
mean,
what do you think?
doubles,
Sorry, Chris. No, finish your thought. Sorry, go ahead.
you're good.
No, I was just saying. You mentioned a lot of things. One of the things you mentioned was like coaching, and you just playing against Alex Smellman, who did a night, who represented us well, in the
Absolute
recent
stud.
W.
Absolute stud.
Yeah, I've played him. I think once or twice in also in the King of the Hill. So what a gentleman. But what do you think? Really like everybody has like I think runners go through this like they run and then they hit like a wall and then once they hit that wall they just push themselves to get over it. What was that thing
Hmm.
that made that change, in your game? Was it like that coaching session that you had? Was it like a realization? Like,
So
what was that point, you think?
I mean, there was never like one wall. I'd say there was, you know, an increasing level of difficulty. Like wall climb. You hit one, but now you got another one to face. The first was just trying to figure out a dart weight that fit, a release, something that was comfortable and helped with consistency. And then I was actually able to, hit at least in a sector. So, that was my first hurdle. And then, you know, finding the weakness of doubles and really learning how to throw doubles took me a good year to really start getting comfortable on all the doubles. That was another good wall. And then just trying to find ways of breaking inconsistency because I could go at least hit have a single triple visit, 1 in 3 visits, and I was feeling good. But how can I can get that consistency, my up and down, and um, I got some tips from some of the local pros, or in my eyes were pros. They're good darters, um, in Tallahassee, and they gave me some things. I learned I was doing a lot of short stroking,
Mm,
and it would create a lot more consistency in that. So I started getting the release, and it definitely was helping. And then, but I couldn't really break like low 60s, which is was very good, but I it's in my type. Anything I want to get into, I dive in head first without even looking how deep the water is, and I don't stop until I hit a point where I've considered success.
yeah.
And then
It's amazing, man.
couple of coaching visits and some key points that were noticed, and all right, you tell me this, I'll try it, and if it makes a good correction, I stick with it.
Well, that's awesome.
That's amazing, man. I'd like to apologize for having to leave a couple times there. Like, I got a tickle in my throat, and like I'm dying, like trying to cough, trying to get a drink. Like, just sorry for walking away. But I'm just gonna pull up my questions here. My the Clark's 10.
And then, Chris, so you said you mentioned you DPFL. So you mentioned you won Division 2,
Hmm.
and then I know more recently you won Division 1, right?
I didn't win Division 2. I did make like top 16 playoffs,
Okay.
but yeah, I did win Division 1
Wow, that's good. So then now you're gonna be playing in the
Premier
next level up,
Division.
or the highest level,
Yep.
right? Is that the
Yeah,
highest level?
Premier.
Premier.
Yep.
Wow.
So we'll be seeing all the big dogs, and I'm gonna have a terrifying group, and I'm gonna I'm gonna learn. It's
Wow,
gonna
that's
be my
awesome,
new
man.
push. If I could, it could push me a couple points of my average just from trying to get that just a little bit better, you know, just so I can get some legs or win a match with a lot of these guys that have been, you know, better than me for longer. So,
That's awesome. I'm looking forward, man. Definitely got my support in there. I'll be keeping an eye on you and cheering you on for sure.
hmm.
And you also have a group that you run as well, right?
Yeah, so I'm one of the admins of the Tungsten Tavern. It was originally formed as the Quarantine Canteen by a group of gentlemen back in beginnings of COVID. It was a way for a bunch of people to hop online and play in, nightly blind draws. And as that all sort of phased out, two of the main admins went and created Tungsten Tavern, something a little more fitting for the times. And the whole feel of this group, which have the Facebook group, which is now Tungsten Tavern. Um, but everything's posted, and then we run a Zoom, which actually is really nice for tournament running because you can run breakout rooms, send people to that room for that board, they get their plays in, and instead of sitting in a vacancy When you're done, you go back to that Zoom lobby and you're chatting with the boys at the bar, or females. Just shooting the shit until the next match, and play little mini games in there, and it's awesome. So, but yeah, we run blind draws, bring your own partner doubles, singles every day. There's always a nightly tournament at 8:30 Central, 9:30 East. Um, Sometimes Fridays, but definitely on Saturdays and Sundays, there's going to be earlier tournaments, usually starting around 5 Eastern. Something fun to play before the evening happens. Mondays we do doubles. I run um, every Thursday right now, and then I do pick up coverage of slots all over the place.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Tungsten Tavern.
and
Yeah, so if
big
you're looking for
supporters.
tournaments, guys, like check out the Tungsten Tavern. Like they've got,
And
like you said,
something
they've got tournaments going off like every day.
and something very cool, something that Jay, the owner of the group, the club, went up to Toronto just before the summer started and opened himself up a RBC bank account, and we can do e-transfers for Canadians, save you on some disgusting PayPal fees. So that allowed both U.S. based and Canadians to play for a much better price.
Smart. That's actually really smart.
So like our uh, blind draws are $15 US, but it's for the sake of PayPal fees. You send PayPal you 15 Americans like almost like $25 Canadian. Uh, get to nix that fees with the bank transfer. Boom, it's down to 20. It's just your direct exchange rate. So it's
Very
nice.
smart. That's smart.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna have
there's
to
a
look
lot.
into that for sure because
Yeah,
that's
there's a lot of
that's
got
really
a
smart.
guy, got a lot of Canadians. One hasn't played much out on the west side of Victoria Island, but then we got a bunch of guys in Manitoba, guys out of Ontario, and a large group of peeps from the Newfoundland.
Nice. How many
Yeah.
guys you have in the tavern?
Um, Group stats. Let's see, where are we at? 853 members. Weekdays see a turnout anywhere from 14 to low 20s. Seem to be the average. If we got something special
That's
going on,
awesome.
maybe someone donated in and we added into the tournament, or a sponsor has a cool giveaway, which we are sponsored by Nine Dart Out, and we're also getting sponsored by the Nine Dart Open, which is a annual tournament in Dallas every April. So a lot of cool little quirks going into events with them. We have a rotating, skill shot bonus pot each night. But Neander darts, if you hit a 167 out in L1, you and your partners get to split $167 for hitting that, sponsored by Neander Dart Open.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And then Nine Dart Out contributes towards the group with the partnership, and um, usually give away $25 gift card at least once a week. They'll contribute into some tournaments. Sometimes we'll discount the pot as they buy in a couple dollars of people's entry, all that. Like I said, yeah, we got rotating pots. On doubles, it's mystery out. Do 41 to 170. There's a pot for that. Report your outs. It got as high as like $400 or $500. You hit it. You and your partner split 70% of that pot. We got a super out that just got hit the other night. It was up to $600, and one of our guys, Joe, hit a 170 out, which set the tone for the super out, which is a 141 or higher. Yeah, you hit it, take a picture, get a someone from the other team to vouch, and you're in the run. We'll post it to the group saying, "Hey, super outs in effect. say a 153 was hit. There's your marker, and whoever, if anyone beats it, the number will go up. Otherwise, whoever hit it, they get the cash out at the end of the night, which is
That's
awesome.
pretty awesome.
Those guys
It's
just play
awesome,
about
man.
200
You
apiece,
guys got
man.
a lot going on.
Yeah, so makes it fun.
That's exciting, man.
All right, George. I think you got your questions ready.
Yeah, man, I got them right here. So
All
we'll
right.
go 10 quick questions there, Chris.
Sure.
All right, who's your favorite dart player?
Favorite dart player would be Bully Boy.
Bully
Bully
boy.
boy, nice.
Nice.
What's your favorite brand of darts?
Um, right now, I'm pretty partial to Target, although probably over the last month, I'm throwing darts clearance darts off eBay. I mean, they're discount, unbranded house brand, and they're sleepers, man. They make some great stuff.
Oh, nice,
Hmm.
nice.
My
What's the
favorite.
best board on the market?
Um, in terms of quality of play, I got to give it to Winmall. Unfortunately, I say longevity at home, and I do throw a slightly more aggressive point. Um, the poor bulls die; they've died quick, but I mean they're awesome. I am going to be play testing a set of Shot Bandit Duros, which I'm looking forward to trying. Um, see how those hold up at the house. Um, One I want to check out is the new Samurai Infinity. I've heard some really good things about it. I really want to put some darts into it.
Hmm.
Nice. What was your best win on the ladder?
Best win on the ladder. Um, I've had just a couple good runs, but the one I enjoyed was probably my first one. Getting in here, played Clark both when we were
Oh,
fresh and
nice.
early on the ladder, and
Hmm.
both came out swinging. I took the first. He ended up taking the second, and then I think we went like 1-1 in the third, and then I finished out, and then my uh, final closeout of the last game of the third leg, uh, I hit my first big fish.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
That's
That's wicked.
memorable.
Yeah,
Memorable.
for sure.
But it was a real memorable moment. It was a really solid win because we were really throwing consistent with each other. Clark was destroying his 19s, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's a Jedi, the
Nice.
Jedi master, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to alter this question because it's supposed to be what was your worst loss on the ladder, but I don't think you've lost yet. So what's your worst loss? Like DPFL or anything else? Like what one kind of hit the hardest? Where
Um, I mean, I can take it to two. One I had mentioned earlier, my first season DPFL, I made it to top four and was playing the C to play in the final. I've been throwing great, and I couldn't hit any outs. Just nothing, 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 nothing. And that was super frustrating. And then I had another one earlier in the round robin this season. Um, like every dart, I'd hit the first one and then just single, 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 and he tore me apart. I just it hurt. I'd get down to an out and he'd hit it, he'd hit it, hit it, and it'd be like a 11-4 loss. It was terrible, but that was hard to get through.
yeah, for sure. All right. And you just mentioned this. I was gonna ask what your highest checkout is, but you just said that you got your first big fish,
Yes.
right? So what's your most hated double on the board?
Probably double three.
I was just
Double
gonna say
three.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 and 7. I hate them. What's
I'm
your
okay. I'm
what's
okay
your
at
favorite
seven.
double?
I actually
Favorite
like
What's
double.
seven
that?
too. I like seven too.
I say I have no problem with seven.
I got no problem.
Favorite double, double 16.
Double 16.
I will 9 times
What
out of
player do you
10 say
like
that right.
facing the most?
I honestly love playing Mike Dever. I mean, I've played against him for over a year. It's always close. It's always hilarious. We're both crap talkers when we're, to each other and to ourselves mostly. Let our darts don't fly the way we want to, and it's just a hoot and a holler.
Nice. Who do you hate playing or dislike playing the most?
I mean, I haven't really had much, but it's more of just a type of person that can't control their music sound, or they constantly are getting distracted, uh, and icing the game out with things. It's just I don't know, just the courtesy or like talking during the other player's turn. That's anybody that plays like that. I'm just gonna avoid trying to play you ever again.
Yeah, for sure. It's just an etiquette thing at that point, right?
Yeah.
And if you had a darting nickname, what would it be?
Uh, my nickname, and it's been that way for years, and it followed suit with darts, is Teals the Smurf. Weird backstory. You know, Teals has always been my nickname. I ended up going Teals the Smurf on like almost every platform, but um, I was always super into Star Wars and was playing a game, and I always had before he actually left books and went onto the screen. A guy Thrawn, blue skin. So one of the guys made an avatar of my face, but he dyed it blue, and I just started going by the Smurf, and it stuck.
That's funny.
It stuck for years.
That's hilarious. I love backstories to names when it's not just like, I'm going to call myself Spider. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
where there's
and,
actually something to it. I like
and
that.
I fell in love with it. I even had a graphic artist make me a little emoticon with a Smurf with some of my tattoos and beard, and it's fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's wicked. All right, man. I think that's pretty much it. We've been on here for like 50 minutes. So I think we can pretty much wrap this up. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. I'd like to, thank you, Chris Teals the Smurf,
Hmm.
uh, really for joining us and letting us a little bit into his world and his growth throughout darts and things like that. And remember, if you're looking for a match, there are daily things happening at Tucson Tavern. You know, he listed them all. Look them up in the Facebook, and continue darting, man. Thank you very much. Look forward to your season. Like I said, I'm going to be rooting for you. I'm only in Division 2, but I'll make my way up there. Um,
Yeah.
so, but we'll once again, man, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us and talking to us, sharing your thoughts and your tips. George, as always, brother, thank you so much for joining us. And I just want to
Yeah, man.
thank you everybody for tuning in. Amanda, as always, she's chatting with us in the chat through the YouTube. So, hi, Amanda. And once again, thank you. Happy darting, some good shooting. Enjoy the rest of the week, and God bless you all. You'll have a good night.
All right, buddy. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.